Right now we're going to be working to try to solve this quadratic equation. We're going to be using our Nspire calculator. Now we can normally, what we'd want to do is move this 5 over and then we could solve it by hand. But we want to get a little more practice on the calculator because we're going to be getting into some more difficult problems that are just going to be too hard to do by hand. So what we want to do here is we'll take this equation here. We're going to enter it into our Nspire, but we're going to enter it in as two separate equations. So, and I say y1 here on the Nspire, it'll probably be an f of x1, f1 of x, and then for your x squared plus 4x, and then we're going to enter in a second one of y equals 5. So let's bring our Nspire in. Okay, so here we go. Now, I've already got an equation in there, so what I want to do here is I want to just go ahead and clear that one out. So the way I do that is I go to tab, and then I can go up. That gives me my first equation, and I'm just going to delete that one out of there. Okay, now my first equation there was x squared plus 4x. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to enter that into my Nspire. Okay, so I go, x is down here at the bottom, x squared plus 4x. Then when I'm done and I'm ready for that, I'm going to hit enter. And here's my graph, it's in blue, x squared plus 4x. My second equation was just simply 5, and that was, see how I break these into two separate equations? Whatever's on one side I put in one, whatever's on the other side I put into the other equation. Okay, so we're going back to our Nspire here, and I need to create a second graph, and the way that I do that is I just hit tab, and notice how this is f2 of x, so this is my second graph. I'm just going to enter in 5, and then I hit enter. So now I have two graphs here. I've got one that's the parabola, this is the x squared plus 4x, and the other one is just 5. It's a horizontal line, y equals 5. Now what I need to do on a quadratic, when I'm trying to solve a quadratic, I'm going to have two answers. And notice how I have two intersection points. So that works out pretty nice. Okay, so I need to find both of them in order to get my answers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the menu button. I click on my menu, then I go here to Analyze Graph. Now we've done this before. We found the minimum, the maximum. We found other things as well, but what we're looking for here is the intersection. I'm trying to see where these two lines intersect, so I click on option 4. So I need to have this one intersection here and one over here. And this is similar to the way that we've done our minimum and maximum, a lower bound and an upper bound. What I really just need to make sure is that I include this intersection in my data, if you will. So I click on the left-hand side of it, and then I automatically drive it to the right-hand side. And see how whenever I drag it over, it automatically pops up and says, hello, this is your intersection point. That's perfect. So as soon as I cover that, then I know I've covered enough. So I do that when I'm on the what they call the upper bound, which is kind of the right-hand side of the intersection. I click again, and it tells me that my intersection is negative 5, 5. Okay, which is great. We know that our x value is negative 5, our y value is positive 5, and we do that right here. Now I'm going to do the same process again, but I'm going to do it for this one over here. So again, I'm going to go into Menu, Analyze Graph, and Intersection. So you go Menu, 6 is my option, then option number 4. Okay, and again, I just want to make sure that I'm going to cover the entire intersection point. The lower bound will be the one on the left-hand side. Then you drag it, and as soon as you drag it over, then you see that intersection pop up, and it tells you exactly what that intersection is. As long as I have that in there, then I'm good. I can click it again, and it tells me. So my two intersections here are negative 5, 5, and 1, 5. Okay, so now I've done the hard work. If you'll notice here, the x values on both of these are 5. Well, we knew that because that was our second equation that we entered in. Our second equation was y equals 5. Now, when we're trying to solve these, when we're trying to solve this equation here, we're trying to solve it for x. What does x equal? We have two answers, and my two answers here for x are going to be negative 5 and 1. Okay, so we enter these in, we find our second point, positive 5, 1. But really our answer here is x equals negative 5 and 1. Excuse me. So negative 5 and 1 are our two answers, and we got that directly from these points, negative 5 and positive 1 right there.